Good evening. I'm Howard Nema, and you are watching TruthBroadcastNetwork.com and Truth Talk News. Glad to be back again. It is Monday, the 20th of August, and we have a lot of information to go over. I'm very happy to be announcing that Wayne Costa, a patriot and local Connecticut resident nearby here in Torrington, Connecticut, and happens to be an engineer. And he is an engineer with Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. I had the pleasure of course, knowing Wayne and for some time, uh, and recorded and filmed a previous rough cut of the film that he will be screening at the Torrington, that's right, Torrington Town Hall, City Hall, in the auditorium at 108 Main Street this Wednesday, the 22nd of August, 2012. Tomorrow, he is going to be my guest, and we are going to be talking about 9/11 and the irrefutable evidence that the fraud that is the Commission's report, the 9/11 Commission report, is so blatantly ridiculous that one would think that, I can't even, I don't even want to start getting acerbic right now about this because I have personal ties to 9/11, and of course Harry Link and I will be down on 9/11, streaming live and recording events on truthbroadcastnetwork.com in just a few weeks. So I can't really, I get a little emotional over it. I lost a cousin who passed away, Alan Merdinger. He worked for Cantor Fitzgerald, and took them several years to find, I think it was 7 years to find his remains. Interestingly enough, I never blamed this at that time on the government. I never blamed 9/11 on anyone other than what the brainwashing mainstream controlled media told me to believe. And to this day, I regret that, because I remember my Aunt Arlene, who was Alan's mother. Um, we saw each other at my cousin's memorial. My cousin Joya, who refused the cancer treatment they said would kill her for within 6 months, and she lived almost 4 years without taking the chemotherapy and radiation. And I was one of the people that said she was crazy for not taking chemo. So when I saw my Aunt Arlene and I mentioned it's terrible what these bastard Osama bin Laden bastards did to this country, and she looked at me and she didn't say it, and I didn't quite get it at the time, but she was mentioning that don't believe what you hear. And I didn't get it at the time. It took me some years to realize that this world we live in, this place that we call home, our families, our enterprises, our industry, our work, our ambitions, are all controlled by an order a new world order, intent upon enslaving humanity. And then you look at 9/11, and you look at what happened to those buildings. And we'll talk about it tomorrow in detail with Wayne Costa. So please tune in tomorrow. It's going to be an incredible show from 9 to, well, basically 10, or maybe we'll go a little longer. I don't know. Maybe Harry would like to chime in on this subject together. But I know Wednesday's broadcast will be, I'm going to start streaming live at livestream.com, Truth Talk News, at 6:15 p.m. when this begins, and I'll stream till the end of it, which is probably somewhere around 9:30, where they'll start having the commentary. I'll continue the streaming actually through 10, and I'll get my own commentaries. I'm sure I'll have an opportunity to speak, and I'm hoping that the mayor, I'm going to invite Mayor Ryan Bingham, and I'm a big supporter of him, to attend. I will personally Facebook him. He's a friend on my Facebook. He clearly knows what's going on, and I'm very happy that you're, well, I mean, that we've arranged this screening, and it's a fantastic film. I mean, I saw the rough cuts, and believe me, if it was, I could see what they were going to fix. I mean, I went to film school, ladies and gentlemen. I could see what they were going to fix, and it was a great demonstration. It's gotten 8,000 hits on my YouTube page. I filmed it. You can go to youtube.com, Freedom First Films, and you just put in top-rated videos. It's one of the top-rated videos. That and Fritz Springmeier, the interview with Fritz Springmeier. But I'm sorry for the emotion, but it's real. I mean, this is real. I don't do this for money. I don't do this for, any other reason than getting this information out. I mean, there really is no agenda here. I'm not trying to hawk a product or anything. I mean, you might say that I shamelessly promote my band, but I mean, after all, who's going to sign a band that's writing songs against the New World Order? So I, certainly not here for any purpose other than exposing the truth that has been layered in lies upon lies upon lies. So, I feel that we're at this juncture here where there's so much turmoil in the world. I mean, I could just, off the cuff, speak for hours, maybe weeks, and it would all end up being cohesive, and it would expose the spider web of evil that all seems to somehow meet in the middle. And we never address the actual primal cause, the primary cause of this. I mean, for example, this movie Prometheus that's out, and Ridley Scott, and now he lost his brother. It's just like, for those that are aware of various things that are practiced and ideologies, this is sort of like another one of those mysterious circumstances. The man kills himself. I mean, I know he had inoperable brain cancer. And you just look at the work and exposing a lot of information that certain people might not really be appreciative of. And there is actually an interesting scenario around that, because we all know that doctors can lie, and they could sign reports, and they could state things, and they could change tissue samples, and they can do all sorts of things if there's a proper compensation involved. So don't be naive to think that that would be some sort of a conspiracy theory, that maybe this man didn't take his life. Well, maybe he did. I mean, I'm certainly that he was killed, but the background story could be contrived, considering certain elements that have been revealed. I mean, Hollywood is so blatantly going after this, moving towards a new world order. It's almost it's almost like the guiding force. You know, I guess Goebbels maybe was the guiding force of the Nazis, I guess, right? So why wouldn't Hollywood be the guiding force of the New World Order? Certainly looked to as the epitome of the artistic realm. I mean, I know that American film has suffered greatly. Artistic freedom, there is no artistic freedom in Hollywood. Even the independents are limited to what they can get out. Got great films like We the People that is going to be coming out, which is a tremendous film, and I promote it here. We the People, and it's going to be released shortly, I guess, in theaters. So that'll hit some nerves, and it's independent. But there's not enough of it, you know. I mean, if I always said, like if I were to win, you know, like the Mega Ball or whatever, the Powerball, and won $300 million, boy, believe me, everybody in the universe would know about the New World Order, because that's a ridiculous sum of money. Not enough to feed the world, but enough to awaken it. And anyone that maybe has won fortunes, I know people recently. I thought that, you know, there was recently a big Powerball, and you know, I threw $1 in it. I normally am against these type of things. I mean, it is really a scam, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody really wins. I mean, they just like pump up this money. Although, you know, in certain cases, the lottery does. I mean, I know there's the skimming and it's just so corrupt. I don't want to get into it, but some money actually does get to the schools and all these things in the states, and it's got a benefit to the state. But like everything else, you know, the Rothschilds got to get their cut. You know, like they got to wet their beak. For those like in The Godfather, remember when they got to wet their beak? Well, you know, Monzano, whatever his name was, they had to wet his beak. So Robert De Niro, you know, he got the gun. He turned out the light bulb. He wrapped it in a towel, and he shot the motherfucker and killed him. Well, that's what we got to do. We got to shoot these New World Order scum, kill them, fuck them where they breathe. I know this is vile to some, but let's be real. I apologize if I'm offending anyone, but why is your paycheck less than it was not so long ago? Why do things cost so much money, more so than they did not so long ago? Why is your healthcare cost went from something that was, you know, manageable to something that is a majority portion of your budget? Why is the ability to create your own business and have your own enterprise so entangled by bureaucracy and red tape that it's virtually impossible to achieve unless you have vast sums of money for fees, lawyers, and other associated costs? Why is all the manufacturing taken away from this country? Why do we actually encourage corporations to do this? Why is it that Americans can go overseas and work for money for tax-free purposes up to $75,000 or $100,000 to work on the oil fields and other places and pay no income tax? Why does ExxonMobil and, you know, BP and Halliburton and all of these other corporations, why do they continuously have a control over our foreign policy? Why does the immigration problem pit races against races when it's about really reducing the cost of labor in America, evening out the playing field so that eventually we will be the same slaves that we always say, look how bad it is in China. Look what you're doing in China. These poor people making $4 a day. That could never happen here. Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, it can happen here. And it is happening here. very slowly. Death by 1,000 cuts. I've said it many times. We are absolutely entangled in this equation. We are a major factor in this equation. We are the cog that moves the wheel towards this enslavement, not against it. Those that are aware and that are taking action and trying to alert others are a minority. Yet the government always has to work with minorities to help minorities. But really, what is that? We are a minority. I mean, after all, it's stated that in estimates, and I've researched these estimates, that there's probably between 20 and 30 million people that are awake in this country, in America. That's only like 10% of the population, less than 10% of the population, because it's growing, it's ever growing with, with unfortunately other illegal sources are included in the population. You can't help that, but that's okay, because you don't understand why it's not a human rights issue. They want to make it a human rights issue. And that's why this whole progressive thing and this whole, let's help these people. Oh, they've been oppressed. And, well, what about us? We're oppressed, especially those that are making money. If you're a manufacturer of anything, you can't afford to do business unless you manufacture in a foreign country. And if you refuse to do that, maybe you have a small little mill, you got 10 people working for you, and you're doing whatever it is you're doing. It's been disgustingly pulled apart. Big business drags all the money, and then big business have their like little minions below them that pay homage to their products. For example, I'll give you an example. GE. GE sells security products amongst thousands of other products. They're a conglomerate. And their security products are also backed with the companies that sell their products by GE financing, so they can acquire accounts and other ways to find resources through using GE products and GE capital and GE banking, and then their employees can be paid through Bank of America, and it goes on, so on and so forth. So the corporations are all prospering, the owners are all making lots of money, but they're really running a slave operation that's based upon, not workers or quality customer service, but flat out, profit motive, money at all cost. And it's not just this industry or that industry or this industry or that industry. It's every industry. And you say, well, if you have poor customer service, you lose customers and all this other stuff. And well, to some degree, that's true, depending upon the industry. There's a lot of tyranny, like with the medical industry and the health insurance aspect of covering things. I mean, you have insurance, but you cannot dictate what you want done to you. You have to fall in the parameters, and you pay exorbitant sums of money for this, right, to not be covered for holistic care, for example. I mean, I can go on and on and on, and I do. And tonight I have this particular piss and vinegar that I recall from a long ride home. I mean, when I ride home, ladies and gentlemen, here's my day. I work a lot. I work 4 days a week to make a living, to feed my family. And I work a normal 40-hour week, so do the math. I drive 2 hours a day to go to work, so I have a 12-hour day. So that gives me a lot of time on the road to think about what I'm going to talk about tonight and tomorrow night and other nights. So it's given me the opportunity to recognize how I can try to make an impact with you. As I always speak and I always talk about, is that I speak about many things. I talk about many subjects, like 9/11. We're going to be going into tomorrow night with Wayne Costa, who's a great informant. I mean, again, another passionate patriot. Who understands that it's a fraud. 9/11, it's not the truth. Whether or not you want to take a position believing it's the New World Order or it was whoever it was and Rockefeller knew about it or whatever you want to say, the fact of the matter is that the numbers just don't jive, ladies and gentlemen. If they don't jive, then you've got a problem. But the worst thing about it, ladies and gentlemen, is that it was done to take away our rights, using an excuse. I mean, come on, the sky is falling, take away our rights. Henny Penny's running around. Oh my God, my God. So we have to give up our rights and let people look into all our business and bring closer into this Orwellian world. And you think that's a coincidence? You think that's justified because 19 box cutter wielding assailants, most of them from Saudi Arabia, who have now threatened if anybody interferes with Iran, they're going to not allow, start like World War III. This is madness, ladies and gentlemen. These people are insane lunatics intent upon ruling the world, decimating it, and showing you these movies that they're going to do it, and then you think, oh, that's just a movie, so it can't really happen. But it's happening. It's not a joke. This isn't like something I'm making up here, and I'm not like, this isn't even speculation. We're living through it. Fluoride in the water so that we become docile and we become less aggressive as a society in whole. And sickened by cancer and other things through the fluoride and other neurological problems. And then you got the vaccines and all the additives, and formaldehyde is in vaccines, but they're going to take it out of your shampoo now. Johnson & Johnson will take it out of your shampoo. So why don't they take it out of the vaccines? I'll tell you why. Until you complain about it, they're not going to do shit. So that's why I'm here every night, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on truthbroadcastnetwork.com. Oh, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Now, Carol Link is going to be joining us tonight. She's sitting in for Harry, who's, I'm sure, undoubtedly preparing for the 9/11 work that's coming forward, and everybody look around truthbroadcastnetwork.com. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is we just have about 5 minutes before the break. I'm going to go to truthbroadcastnetwork.com here and give you guys a viewpoint, some of the stuff that Harry has done here. Now, when we started this effort, or I should say, Harry really started Truth Broadcast. I just do my show. And I really am, again, honored and very, happy to be a partner in this. And we are partners in this, I guess, and there's no other way to look. Partners in freedom and liberty. And he has done amazing work. And this is the website as everyone's watching, but I'm going to just, while I talk, might as well just show you a few things, and we'll do some news from here because I haven't done any news. In the second part of the show, we're going to be having some news coming up, and we'll be able to go over a few things in the second half. But right now, again, I just want to just scrolling through here, you can look. They got breaking news: Rutherford Institute defends Marines arrested, and all these great state posts. I put all my videos are now coming up here each show, and other things. My Fritz Springmeier video that I talk about a lot is on here. You can check that. This is now all searchable on the internet. With search engines. Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. Now this is when Wayne Costa was the first show that we did. I did it back in, I think it was in February, and they came down to our headquarters. We Are Change Connecticut is headquartered in Waterbury, Connecticut, in Silas Bronson Library, and he did a great presentation. There was about, I would say, about 60 people there, but now we are going to be doing a big event, ladies and gentlemen, here in Torrington, Connecticut, on 107 Main Street in Torrington City Hall in the auditorium. And I hope the place holds about 1,200, 1,500 people can fit in there. I mean, let's fill this place. I mean, this is what we have to do. And in my efforts, I'm going to, again, try to, there's a lot of people, I mean, a lot of groups and stuff I'm involved in Torrington. I'm just going to keep sharing this information and the broadcasts and everything else. And I can't wait for tomorrow's show with Wayne. He's really an awesome guy, and very, very passionate about this. Because again, I understand it. You know what it really comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. I recognize it. I recognize the truth. I mean, that's what it is. It's the truth. You understand somebody that is absolutely, compelled by just being a good human. All right, forget about anybody's religion, because I know religion always causes a problem. You got all these different religions that they try to divide us. But it just, your humanity, your sense of compassion, your sense of understanding, you learn something so horrible. And that people that are not in the knowledge, like doctors that come out against the medical mafia. I mean, it's just, you have to understand that the deception is so great that how can you just sit idly by unless you're profiting by it? Now, these gentlemen, I think almost 2,000. I haven't even asked Wayne. I'm going to give him a shout after the show. I told him I'd call him. I caught him. He was driving. He almost had an accident because he pulled over and we were talking, and and he's, of course, was glad to come on the show tomorrow. And I'm very happy to, of course, film the event, live stream the event from 6:30 on. I'll talk to Harry about it. I don't know how much. I guess Slim's doing a show. He does a Hammer in the New World Order. But we'll see what happens. And all I could say is that tyranny is upon us, and there is no greater tyranny than that which is perpetrated under the shield of law and in the name of justice, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll be right back. I'm Howard Nema, and you're watching TruthBroadcastNetwork.com. Mr. Famine, I hope not. No more family, just me. That is my goal, everybody, to show you everything in one night. That's right, we're going to give the truth. Give all the truth to you. That's right. That's all you get here is truth on Truth Talk News. And there's some truth right there for you, ladies and gentlemen. You think not? What does that image tell you? Aside from the obvious symbolism, I mean, how many people have died in the name of freedom, liberty, and, oh my God, saving people? We liberated Libya by dropping Obama love bombs, killing 30,000 civilians. But they're free, and Al-Qaeda is now in place. As it should be. Of course it should be this way. We know. After all, Al-Qaeda are the good guys. Remember? Oh, you thought they were the bad guys? No. They're not the bad guys anymore. They're the good guys. You see, war is peace, and ignorance is strength, and freedom is slavery. And you must understand. Think, Winston, think. The world is not what it appears to be. There is only the equations. 1 + 1 = 3. That's the truth. And that's all you see. Unfortunately, that is true. That is all that anyone ever sees. They really don't look. They don't think. They don't want to. They find themselves somehow, busy with their lives is, I guess, the best way to put it. I don't want to keep going over all the ridiculousnesses of that. And their lives, most of it involves some form of entertaining themselves because they're so truthfully enslaved that they really crave this entertainment because it is the escape from the enslavement. However, they relish their enslavement. They actually embrace their enslavement by getting their big car loans so they can look fancy and have the nice clothing and spend all their money on this, that, and the other thing and charge up the credit card because Mrs. Jones has a nicer looking wardrobe. I mean, this is the whole problem, keeping up with the Joneses, all this social control, Edward Bernays bullshit. We have really come to a fork in the road here with humanity, where I think that it's fair to say either we're going to go into complete despotism by will over the course of the next 30 years, or we can turn back this clock 30 years back at least. I don't know. I mean, if we could really turn, honestly, our goal, the best goal, in my viewpoint from history and my studies and my research, and believe me, folks, I do a lot of it. If we could somehow, instead of being brought to despotism in 30 years, bring ourselves back to freedom and liberty as it was perceived in the American public eye 20 years ago. Because 120 years ago, it was before the turn of the century. And the people were, like they are now, sheep, but uninformed, but smarter. Easier to manipulate because all you had was newspapers. Basically, that was the only thing you had, and they could really set the tone for the world, believe me, ladies and gentlemen, and they did. William Randolph Hearst. In fact, there's an awesome piece. I don't want to digress. Maybe I should. I mean, I got a whole bunch of news here. In the New American, which is the John Birch Society publication. I, of course, am a member. And it has to do directly with this issue. In fact, I printed it out trial run for interventionism. The Spanish-American War began after Spain was blamed for the sinking of the USS Maine. And this is sort of very topical because it's the same kind of false flag bullshit going on with 9/11, with Oklahoma City, with even Pearl Harbor, ladies and gentlemen. We had the intelligence. There was a necessity to militarize. There was a deception to levels, but Roosevelt knew, in the end, knew that there would be an attack. And instead of informing every single place, especially in Pearl Harbor, they waited until the attack was actually happening to send the message to Pearl Harbor. It's factual. It's on record. A lot of facts about World War II would horrify veterans who fought in the conflict, the ones that are still alive, and those who are their children, and anyone else who studied history. Today, I heard Brad Davis on Talk of Connecticut. I talk about Brad Davis a lot. And I think I'm going to take this snippet, I'm going to send it to him, at the very least. Brad was talking about Bill O'Reilly's book about Lincoln. And he went into great detail about how much he loved the book. And I think it's awesome that he is an avid reader. And I really think Brad is an amazing human being. I really do. A Christian, a Catholic, and you know, a good man. Lives by the proper graces of God, if you want to call it that. I don't know. I mean, it depends upon your lifestyle. Again, listen, you know, different strokes for different folks, whatever it is. But he's a gentleman in the age, I would say, he's certainly in his 70s. And I've spoken with him on air a couple times. I sent him some emails, and I got cut off. I called up once, and they had me on hold, and they hung up on me, and then I called back, and they wouldn't let me on. So I got a message, and it's okay, Brad. I understand. You know, you don't want to be involved in this too deeply as far as telling the people the truth. But the truth is that Lincoln. You're talking about Lincoln and how wonderful this book that was written, and what a great writer that Bill O'Reilly is, from Bill O'Reilly, who once had a show in Hartford in Connecticut, and all this other stuff, and how it was characterized, and it was very humanized, and all this other good stuff. And I think it's great. I think it's true. But what was not true was the fact that they, again, are putting a propaganda piece together, because not once did you mention the fact that all the money for the assassination came from international bankers that were located in Montreal, Canada. That didn't come into play. That the Banking Act of 1864 didn't come into play. The fact of the matter is that it was the same type of a coup d'etat, the same type of a attack upon the liberties of all the presidents that have been slain, including Andrew Jackson, who survived. The fact that he survived should just warn everybody else. This is what they do. But no. You're just going to believe that Andrew Jackson, no, that was just the bankers. Yeah. Well, what about Lincoln? Well, that was because of the slaves, and they hated. No, because the bankers are smarter than you dumb sheep. And they deflected all the attention and all the history books and all the propaganda and all the media and everything else that they owned and controlled, and told you that it was because of the blacks. Now, that certainly was because of the slaves, the whole situation. But that wasn't the primary situation. No. The South was being oppressed by the North. Fact. That's right. They were unfairly taxed, and that was the main reason why they wanted to leave the Union. Did you ever read that in a history book? No fucking way. I know you didn't. Even if you went to an accredited college. Yale. Pull out of the Yale curriculum. Look in the books and read about this whole part of history, and you will see the same thing. The lie. But if you read between the lines, and if you look at what they're not promoting, the books that they're not saying, why do you have to buy these books, by the way? Do you know why? Because Rita Zelvier sells them. Elsevier. Read, Reed, Elsevier. Reed Elsevier. A Dutch-British company, part of the New World Order, controlling just about all the medical books and all of the 15,000 publications and magazines. And I mean, this is unbelievable. That's why you see and get what you get, and you see what you see, and you perceive what you perceive from what they let you see. But if you just take the time to just get away from it and dig deep, deep inside of your soul, of yourself, find your purpose. Forget about what they're thinking about you, your purpose. Forget about the fact you want to have this, this corporate ladder shit or whatever else it is that you're mind controlled to strive for, the carrot that's put in front of you. Forget about that. And think about how you're being controlled. I mean, no one will enter the New World Order unless he or she will make a pledge to worship Lucifer. No one will enter the New Age unless he will take a Luciferian initiation. David Spangler, Director of Planetary Initiative at the United Nations. The New World Order, under the United Nations, will reduce everything to one common denominator. The system will be made up of a single currency, single centrally financed government, single tax system, single language, single political system, single world court of justice. God have mercy on all of our souls. A single state religion. Each person will have a registered number without which he will not be able or allowed to buy or sell. And there will be one universal world church. Anyone who refuses to take part in the universal system will have no right to exist. Assessment of the New World Order by Dr. Kirk E. Koch. So to say that we are all just individuals with our own little thing going on that's getting in the way of us understanding the New World Order would be very, very, very foolish, because the individual God-given rights of man, woman, and child trump everything. Yet, as I had Janet Phelan was on Saturday with We Are Change Connecticut, talking about the conservatorship issue with Charles Castle, and clearly the tyranny there. So, and then you have Dr. Fetgather, who was not able to have very many aspects of seeing his son and other things, problems, taking away his license and his ability to practice medicine or psychology. And then that was restored by a judge. They're slowly enslaving us, ladies and gentlemen. It's a core principle of these people. This is what they do. They take away rights to enslave the humanity. This has been going on for centuries, but don't you see it? You're just so happy that you have all these amenities and every 6 months you get a new Apple computer and a new iPhone and an iPad and a this and a that and all this bullshit. That means nothing. But you keep buying into it. You'll even go into debt for it. Need that big screen TV so you can watch football games or watch movies, and get that big sound system because you want entertainment. Well, they've gotten you to want entertainment so much. Did you ever think about it? It's like, what's that all about? I mean, I'm an entertainer. I'm a musician. Please come to the bar, go outside, have something outside. Do you go to concerts? Well, most people can't afford it, or they probably go into debt to go to concerts. I mean, it's been like absolutely overwhelmed with these technologies that you have to like conform to. You just want to sort of just escape from that sometimes. I mean, I left New York, and wow, it's sort of like it's the weirdest thing to think that I lived 38 years in New York City, and I know every inch of it. I mean, you could blindfold me, put me in a van, drop me off in any part of New York City, in any of the 5 boroughs, and in about 30 seconds I know where I am. And that's not even a um it might even be faster than that. I mean, I worked in every borough in the city of New York. I worked in Staten Island, I worked in Brooklyn, I worked in Queens, I worked in the Bronx, and of course, I've worked in Manhattan. So yeah, I could say that I literally know just about every inch of the city. And I left it for various reasons. I wasn't awake when I left, but somehow it brought me to a very good place where I met some very, very important people that are important people. The most important people in my life I've met since I've left New York. Um, I don't, talk about it too much, but they're very, very, very important. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that there's a reason. I know that I'm in a community where there is more liberty and there is more freedom. Even in this very, very, you know, sort of like, I don't know, overall oppressive state. A lot of the towns have a lot of oppressive rules, and you have this police state going on, and crime, and all this other stuff, but not in Torrington. Torrington is the largest city in Litchfield County, and not that it doesn't have its problems, but it's certainly not there's a lot of God-fearing people here. It's mostly Christian, um, and there's like morality. I mean, you're going to always have a societal problem, and there is a small town appeal or feel to this area, and it's culturally diverse. It's the leader in the arts and culture area. My good friend and brother Jacques Williams, WAPJ Radio, and all these other great cats that I don't give enough credit to, and get the music back out there. They're the music side of it, and this is part of the community. Torrington is a very big community of artists and literally musical artists and um, regular artists, painters and such like that. And I think that it's growing, and it's wonderful. And Ryan Bingham is doing a great job. And I know that his wife is on the head of the Culture and Arts Committee, and I think that's great. So she's been doing good. I don't talk about the town enough. I really don't. But I'm obviously aware of what's going on. I pay attention to what's going on. I still talk to Michelle Cook. I keep saying I don't talk to her. I'm going to knock on her door one of these days. I keep sending your emails regarding this fluoride issue, and I mean, Ryan can't help me. I need a state rep to help me. It's a state issue. And again, I'm putting it on the record out to lots of people here in Connecticut. I know for a fact that we've got listeners right here in Torrington, Connecticut, within 15 feet of this house. There are 3 or 4 listeners. So and people that are viewing the broadcast. So I'm trying to just get a little bit. I guess maybe I'm giving a little too much information towards the local thing. I mean, a lot of people don't know about what's going on in Connecticut, but what's going on here is not unlike what's going on where you live. You either are going to accept Agenda 21. I mean, I lambasted Ryan Bingham for going to China on the Sister City program. I think it's, again, how can you compare us to China when, again, they're deindustrializing us and all this other stuff. So I might have woke him up, you know. I mean, I think I might have. Now that we have him, who is the mayor of the city of Torrington, having this right in the City Hall auditorium, having this display, I think I might have helped to our cause, you know. I mean, and I really feel good about that. And we all have to understand that things are not easy to change, but they're necessary to change. We can't keep going on. I mean, I didn't even get into any news. And then tomorrow night I have, again, I'm towards the end here of the show already. Tomorrow night I'm going to have my friend Wayne Costa of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth on air. I'm going to be giving him a call in just a few minutes, and I'm going to be calling in with Kara Link, who's going to be on in just a few minutes after we end here with Death to the New World Order. So please tune in, stay broadcasting with us, or stay with the broadcast, and in just about a minute or so, we will be hitting you off with We the People, which is another cry out for this movie that's coming out. Everybody can go to wethepeoplethemovie.com, and you can actually, by giving a donation, they'll actually give you credit in the film, because they're trying to get some, they need some more money to get this thing finished. And it really looks like a great film, I must say. And I'm promoting it. I think that it's an awesome film. And again, thanks out to Roger Landry at WeThePeopleNetwork.com, Pam Suggs at UnitedTruthSeekers.com, Harry Link, Death to the New World Order, of course, here on TruthBroadcastNetwork.com. The list is long, and it's absolutely always ever expanding. Chris Freedom Flowers, where are you? Calling out to you again, brother. Haven't heard from you in a long time. God bless you all, and I'll see you tomorrow night with Wayne Costa here on TruthBroadcastNetwork.com and Truth Talk News, from 9/11 Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth.